very special guest, Miss Naveena, who is an alumni of our college. Very happy to have you with us, ma'am.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Naveena. I will be dealing with wit in Sanskrit.
Okay.
The reason I've chosen this topic is not because it's rhyming, wit, Sanskrit, but simply because wit is something that appeals to everybody, and wit in Sanskrit is something many people are ignorant about. When you say Sanskrit, the first thing that comes to your mind is mantras, shlokas, religious stuff. Or maybe if you know a little bit more, you will say, okay, it's all about romantic poetry, Kalidasa, or some great Mahakavyas like Raghuvamsha and Kumar Sambhava. So, wit in Sanskrit, when I say, it's not something that makes you laugh out loud and hold your stomach. This is more cerebral, subtle, and you have to feel it with your heart and mind. It leave a smile on your face, and you'll perhaps remember that situation or that quotation for very long, probably the whole life.
Yeah.
So, how I've designed my brief talk is, first, as a warm-up, we'll just have a few everyday jokes translated into Sanskrit.
Okay.
After which we'll deal with the anecdotes and little jokes related to the great masters or legends or poets.
Yeah.
And in between maybe we'll have a session on riddles.
Okay.
So are you all set?
Yeah.
So let me make it as vibrant and succinct as possible. Okay, there was I'm starting with my first joke. I hope you understand and laugh.
Okay.
I will translate, of course. A girl called Sujata asks, किमर्थं तव अग्रजा वाचालत्वं प्रदर्शयति चेदपि तव आवुत्तः तूष्णीकः भवति? She asks her friend, how come your brother-in-law, that is Avuttah, your sister's husband, is very quiet although she is always talking? The friend answers, यतः मम अग्रजा आकाशवाण्यां व्याख्यात्री अस्ति, मम आवुत्तः ग्रन्थालयपालकः अस्ति. Know what it means? My sister is a radio jockey and Akashavaanyam Vyakhyatri asti. Mama Avuttah Granthalayapalakah asti. He's a librarian. So she always talks
And
It doesn't
and
talk.
at the same time be silent.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one. Bhagavatah Puratah Sthitva. A bhakta stands before God and prays. Mama dhanasyute, in my purse, sarvada bhuri dhanam bhavet. Make lot of money be there in my purse always. Mam paritah tarunyah bhaveyuhu. Around me may a lot of young women be there. What a wish.
Okay.
Dayaluhu bhagavan tasya abhishtam samapurayat. God is very compassionate. He grants whatever you wish for. Sah kasyachit basyanasya nirvahakah abhavat. And what did the devotee become? He became a bus conductor. Lot of money in his purse, a lot of women around him.
That's nice.
A teacher asks, Yaha asmad drishtigocharaha na bhavati tasya praninah nama vadabho. What is the creature which you can't see with your eye?
Okay.
Okay.
The mischievous student says, Asma niyojaka vargasya vidhayakah. The MLA of a constituency. You cannot see unless elections come.
Yeah, correct.
She was probably expecting some microorganism out of there, right? Okay. Now we move on to a slightly older anecdote about a great king.
Okay.
Once a king, he punishes a person, a criminal called Bhukunda. In the olden days, when everybody knew Sanskrit, even criminals knew Sanskrit, obviously.
Okay.
He punishes a person called Bhukunda. And Bhukunda immediately replies in the form of a verse. When the king asks, I'm going to sentence you to death, do you really agree to what you've committed at least now? Maybe then I can lighten your sentence.
Yeah.
Then the criminal answers in a verse. His name is Bhukunda, right? Bhattir nashtah, bharavirapi nashtah, bhikshur nashtah, bhimasenopi nashtah, भुक्कुण्डोऽहं भूपतिस्त्वं राजन् भब्भा पद्धतिर् अन्तकः सन्निविष्टः. ஒன்றும் புரியல.
Yeah, nashtaha, like
Nashtaha is lost. So, what does he first say? Bhattihi nashtaha. Bhatti was a great king in Vikramaditya's court. He was also a great author of Vakya Pradeepa in Sanskrit.
Okay.
Bhattihi nashtaha. The great poet called Bharavi, who wrote Kiratarjuniya. Bharavi is also gone.
Yeah.
He also died. I am Bhukkunda. I am also going to go. You are the Bhupati. You are the Raja. You are the Lord of the earth. You are also going to go. So what does he say? Bha for Bhatti, Bha for Bharavi, Bhu for Bhukkunda, Bhupati. So the Lord of Death is ascending the steps of Bhavarga, Bhabha. So what is there for me to regret in this, he says.
Super.
Pleased with this man's answer, he's let free by the king.
Free. Okay.
The next one is an instance where an arrogant poet, he hears a lot about Kalidasa. He wants to challenge him and prove his supremacy. So he goes to Kalidasa's house. But Kalidasa, knowing that this man is going to come, just wants to pull his leg. He disguises himself as a servant and opens the door.
Okay.
Then this poet asks, where is Kalidasa? Then he answers in a verse composed by himself as a servant.
Okay.
He says, Nakhalina khalina leelaya namayan unnamayan ayam hayam niragaduragadiramhasa puragarutpada gopurat bahi. For a moment this poet is stupefied. Such a big verse. It's perfectly set to meter.
And that too by a servant.
By a servant. Which convey different meanings like Nakhalina khalina leelaya. There's a lot of lakara. And Nakhalina, if you take off the na, it becomes Khalina.
Kalina.
What does Khalina mean? The reins. Basically what the verse means is Kalidasa, he's taken the reins of the horse in his hand and making it raise and lower its head. You know, when the horse goes, it goes like this, it goes up and down. With the speed of Garuda. Garuda is supposed to be very fast, right? Yeah. So he's making the horse run like Garuda, and he has crossed the threshold of the city, which has Garuda on its tower. That's what it means.
Oh.
Nakhalina khalina leelaya namayan unnamayan ayam hayam. Hayam means a horse.
Oh.
Niragad, he went out. Uragari ramhasa, with the speed of Garuda, who is the enemy of Uraga, with a snake.
Snake.
Pura garutmata gopurat bahihi. There's a gopura which has a Garuda symbol outside the city. He has just gone outside. Okay. Basically, he has gone outside.
Okay. So
to tell this, he has composed this stupendous verse. And this poet is stupefied, obviously, and asks, who are you? And then the servant says, no, I am actually a washerman. I keep listening to the exchanges of Kalidasa's students who come to bathe in the river.
wow.
Then this guy thinks, oh my god, this guy who just listened to the Kalidasa students exchange something, is composed such a poem, that how great will Kalidasa be? So thinking, he flees the city. No wonder Kalidasa is called the Kavi Kula Guru. He is the greatest. He's like the Guru, inspirational model. In like my earlier anecdote, everybody knew Sanskrit at one point of time. Very sad that very little of us know at this point of time. Hopefully things will change for the better. There was a time when Raja Bhoja, a great patron of Sanskrit, and himself he is a great Sanskrit poet and writer. He will, in some fit of passion, he will say, nobody who doesn't know to write kavya should stay in my kingdom. I'm fed up of having ignorant people. So the police or the guards will, whatever you call them, will catch hold of a weaver and say, you must immediately flee the city.
Okay.
You don't know anything, you can't compose poetry, you can't do anything, you're useless to the king. Then the weaver will say, please take me to the king, I will ask him for one last chance, let me see what he says. He is known to be very compassionate, so hopefully he will give me some kind of a chance. Then Bhoja will say, okay, what my man do you know to write a kavya? Can you write at least a small kavya? Now, weavers of now may know only to weave. But then, like I said, weavers had a lot of erudition.
Okay.
And immediately he spouts a verse of his own. He says, Kavyam karomi. I will write a poem. I will maybe write a kavya. Nahi charu taram karomi. But it may not be very beautiful. Charu means beautiful. Yatnat karomi. Maybe if I put in a lot of effort, prayatnam abdin molya. Yadi charu taram karomi. Maybe if I put a lot of effort, it will turn out to be beautiful. Bhupala Mauli Manimandita Padapitha He Sahasanka. He praises the king. You're such a brave king. And your footstool where you keep your head, where you keep your feet, are worshipped by the kings who have jewels on their crown, which means other kings prostrate at your feet. You're such a great king.
Yeah.
By this verse, Kavayami, I've made a poem. But Vayami, I am a weaver. Vaya to weave. Yami, I am going.
Okay.
Kavayami, Vayami, Yami. So even if you take off one letter, it still makes sense. This is something called the Gopucha Gati, where it's like a cow's tail. It's thick to start with, then it slowly becomes thinner, right? So Kavayami, Vayami, Yami. Again, pleased with the man's erudition, the king says, of course you can stay in my kingdom, you're a big asset.
Okay, super.
There is a facet, or rather there is a feat in Sanskrit literature or poetry where a person will be given just one line which is mostly senseless, apparently. He will have to make it into a sensible situation or a poem. He'll have to compose a poem and make this fit into that. This so-called senseless line has to be fit into the poem.
Okay.
This is called Samasya Puranam. Samasya means a problem. Puranam means to fill or to complete or to find a solution.
Okay.
Once again, a king gave a very difficult samasya to his court. He gave 6 words which have to be fitted into a meter, which have to be fitted into a poem. The words are Ambodhi, Jaladi, Payodhi, Udadihi, Varam Nidhir, Varidhi. Now all these words mean the same thing, which is ocean. Ambodhi, Jaladi, Ambu, Jala, all are synonyms for water. The place where water is there, the place where water is there. Now what can you make with ocean? We can't make.
Yeah.
But obviously Kalidasa being what he is, he came out with a poem the very next day. A very beautiful poem, that too.
Okay.
He created a situation. Muruga or Subramanya goes to Lord Shiva and says, Father, my mother Parvati is very angry that you have Ganga on your head. Please leave her immediately. Please let her go. Then Shiva asks, my son, you know everything there is to know. Now where can I suddenly leave her? She's been long on my head. Now where is the place to leave her? What is the solution? Then child Subramanya grows very angry. Imagine a small little child, all puffed up cheeks and red eyes. He literally paints the picture of Subramanya and says, where else to leave her? Ocean. He has 6 faces. So each face says ocean.
Wow, super.
Amba kupyati. Amma is angry. Tata, oh father. Murdhni nihata Ganga iyam utsrajyatam. Please leave the Ganga who's on your head. Vidvan Shanmukha, Shiva answers, Kagatis iha bhaved tasyaha sthiraya chiram. For long she's been on my head, Shiram.
When can I leave her?
Gopa ropa karala shesha vadanaihi pratyuttaram dattavan. He was damn angry and he answered with each of his face. Ambodhir, Jaladhir, Payodhir, Udadir, Varam Nidhir, Varadhi.
Beautiful.
Super.
There's one more aspect to Sanskrit, that you can't split a word in any which way you want. You should take a lot of care because otherwise it will alter the entire meaning. There is again a samasya which is given by a king. He says, Hate Hanumata Ramaha Sita Harshamupagata. When Hanuman was killed by Rama, Sita is very, very happy. Harshamupagata. Rudanti Rakshasaha Sarve. All the Rakshasas are crying. Ha ha Ramo hata hataha. Hato hataha. all the Rakshasa are crying because Rama has died. Now it's a paradox. Well, how can the Rakshasas cry when Rama is dead and Sita be happy? But there's a catch in this. You have to split it in a different way. You shouldn't say Hate Hanumata Ramaha. You should say Hate Hanumata Ramaha. Aramaha means a garden. We all know he destroyed the Ashoka garden.
Ashokavanam. Yeah.
So when the Ashoka garden was destroyed by Hanuman, Hate Hanumata Ramaha, Sita Harsham Upagata. Sita was very happy, obviously. But the Rakshasas, Rudanti Rakshasas sarve, ha ha aramo hato hataha. Oh my god, this garden is destroyed.
Nice.
Okay, before we go on to just two more samasyas, I would like to give you a breather. I'll ask you a riddle. Try it if you can answer it. There's nothing erudite about this. It's just a simple riddle.
Okay.
There's an object or there's a person. Asti nasti. There asti means bone. He or she doesn't have any bone. Shiro nasti. Doesn't have a head. Bahur asti. Hands are there. Nirangulihi. No fingers. So what do we have? No bones, no head, only hands, no fingers. Nasti padadvayam. Doesn't have a pair of feet also. But gadham angamalingati swayam. But he or she hugs you. How come?
It's a shirt.
Correct. Brilliant. Yutakam. Okay, one more prahelika. Prahelika is a riddle. Seemantinishu ka shanta. Who is the most calmest among women? Seemantini is a woman. Ka shanta. Who is the shanta manava? Raja ko abhut gunottamaha. Who is the most virtuous king? Vidusham for scholars. Ka sada vandya. What is most worthy of adoration for a scholar, for scholars? Atrai voktam. It's the answer is there in the riddle itself.
Yeah, the first and the
Na
last
budhyate. Correct.
word. Like
Seemantinishu ka shanta.
Sita. Yeah.
Raja ko bhut gunottamaha. Ramaha. First Ra
And the last
Ma. Vidusham ka sada vandya. Vidya. Perfect. We'll just finish with two more samasyas.
Sure.
Again, Rajas being brought there give a lot of problems. It's we as citizens who have to solve them.
Okay.
Raja says, compose or rather find out the solution for this verse. And you know what the verse is? Tan tan ta tan tan ta ta tan ta tan tan. What do you make of this, head or tail? Nothing. Everybody thought. They thought the king was mad.
Okay.
But obviously kings of those days were very erudite and just, not like politicians of today, thankfully. So the chief poet, this poem is attributed to Kalidasa. Nobody knows whether it is or not. But whatever it is, it's beautiful. He again creates a situation. Ramabhisheke, when the Pattabhisheka of Rama happened, Jalamaharantyaha, a woman who was bringing the Abhisheka water in a pot. Her hand slipped and the golden pot fell on the stairs. And what was the sound it made? Yes. Again, remember, this is not just a casual sentence. All of this is in verse, which means each quarter has the same number of syllables. And it all follows certain rules of Chandas. Ramabhisheke Jalamaharantya Hastachuto Hemaghato Yuvatyaha. Hemaghata is a golden pot. Sopanamasadya, it met the stairs. Karoti Shabdam Tan tan ta tan tan ta ta tan ta tan tan. Perfectly rhythmic. I would agree. Again, to complete our talk with a smile again, one more samasya from the king. He says, Gulu 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 gulu. Again, our poet creates a situation. He says, there was a tree of jambu fruits.
Okay.
Which were very ripe and just ready to be plucked. Monkey sat on the tree and shook the branches. Each fruit fell into the water and made this sound.
Oh, this is a shloka, I guess. Jambu pala.
Yes, jambu palani pakwani patanti vimale jale. In the clear water, the jambu falas fell, which were ripe pakwani. Kapikam pitashakha abhyam. They were shaken by monkeys. The branches were shaken by monkeys. Gulu 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 gulu. So I hope this will rejuvenate your interest in Sanskrit humor and
Sure.
pave way for greater reading and learning.
Yes,
Thank you
sure.
so much.
Thank you so much.
much.